Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Firecracker Classic, the 49th edition, as we celebrate our nation's 248th birthday on this Independence Day 2024. And we are now thrilled to bring you our 10th game out of 29 games with our 5-day presentation of the Firecracker Classic live from Rapid City, South Dakota. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Fell. We bring you the matchup between two teams that are off to promising beginnings as the Papillion-La Vista Pinnacle Bank team comes in with a 1-0 pool play mark and a 22-12 record, 10 games above 500, taking on the Pueblo Azteca team, who also was here a year ago, who comes in with a mark of 1-0 in the tournament and an 18-6 record overall. We'll have a good pitching matchup. Tanner Apgar on the hill for Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista in the Omaha, Nebraska area. And in southern Colorado, our Pueblo Azteca features Ethan Ayala on the mound, and we're expecting a very exciting game. We have the possibility of some inclement weather in the area, but so far it appears that we simply have some ominous looking scattered clouds, not hearing that there is any weather imminent in and around the ballpark as the lineups have just been exchanged. Speaking of those lineups, let's get you to the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Pueblo Azteca team, leading off, it'll be shortstop Papillion-La, batting second for Pueblo Azteca, center fielder Braxton Vale. Hitting third, a first-team All-State starting pitcher, shortstop Roy Higginbotham. Batting cleanup and in the DH spot today is Logan King for Pueblo Azteca. Hitting fifth is third baseman Colton Calderon. Batting sixth, catcher Gabe Wren. Hitting seventh for the Azteca, Frank Flores. Batting eighth, Zachary Sanders, the right fielder. And rounding out the starting lineup, it's left fielder Beto Robles. So for the Pueblo Azteca, coming in from the southern edge of the Colorado Front Range for this ball game, it's Baca, Vale, Higginbotham, King, Calderon, Wren, Flores, Sanders, and Robles, with Ethan Ayala drawing the start for the Pueblo Azteca this afternoon. For the Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista team, who was victorious in their game against South Kingstown, Rhode Island yesterday, it's Pinnacle Bank coming in with a mark of 1-0 in pool play, as I mentioned. Leading off, Easton Schneider, the second baseman. Batting second, the shortstop, Alex Imig. Hitting third, designated hitter Tanner Apgar, who is again starting today for Pinnacle Bank. And Trent Levecki, the left fielder. He will perhaps play a very big role, as he did yesterday, with a pair of outfield assists, gunning down opposing base runners at the plate. Batting fifth and playing third base, Parker Ingram. Hitting sixth, the catcher Ryan Thompson. Batting seventh, Evan Eddy. Batting eighth, it's Blake Nissen, the right fielder. And hitting ninth, Dylan Wernley, the center fielder. So that's Schneider, Imig, Apgar, Levecki, Ingram, Thompson, Eddy, Nissen, and Wernley for the starters for Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista in Sarpy County on the southern part of the Omaha metro area. We're glad you're with us. We're set to go, and here comes the first pitch from Tanner Apgar to Papillion-La as we begin game number 4 today in day 2 of the 49th annual Firecracker Classic. That first pitch is high and inside for ball 1. Papillion-La leading things off for the Pueblo Azteca. They come in with the classic pinstripe uniforms. Color scheme looks a little bit like the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, they have a pretty unique one. They've got the normal corn, then the maize blue, and pretty strong red. They've got some nice shades.
They do. There's a pitch over for strike one for Tanner Apgar. Tanner, a power hitter, and we think we're going to see and find he is a power pitcher coming across the hill with a right-handed arm delivery. There is a sky-high floater to center, and that's out number one. Apgar gets his man, making the catch for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista, and center field is Dylan Wernley. And now here comes Braxton Vale.
Vale, a super senior coming from Trinidad State Junior College. He was here last year. Had a middling tournament in last year's season. See if he's improved a little.
Braxton Vale with a stance where he really keeps the bat back. You don't usually see the barrel of the bat resting behind the neck of the hitter. But that is the stance for Vale. Here comes the pitch. Vale turns on the off-speed delivery and chops the ball foul towards the Azteca dugout. And quickly Vale is in the hole 0-2. Tanner Apgar gets his sign and delivers the pitch, and that pitch is high for ball one. Papillion-La Vista was able to get out to a solid lead early yesterday, but they stranded a bunch of runners in the early innings, but they finished strong, and that was the difference in their 10-5 victory in a game we had for you here on Hard Hats TV. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Vale, and Vale drills that ball down the line and foul.
I think I get why he puts the barrel behind his neck there. I think I just got it.
Okay.
I think the power
Okay.
speaks for itself.
All right, here comes the pitch from Tanner Apgar to Braxton Vale, and that's a swing and a miss. And strike three as Vale is retired by Tanner Apgar, and that ball had that bat certainly had a lot of torque going through the strike zone, but unless that bat makes contact with the ball, it's harmless.
Yeah.
Roy Higginbotham now. Higginbotham for Pueblo Azteca steps into the batter's box, batting right-handed. Nobody on and 2 outs. I wonder who won the hot dog eating contest today.
It was some schmo named Patrick.
Okay.
He put up the lowest total since before the Joey Chestnut era.
Oh wow. Now, I'm sure you ate a lot more than I could.
He ate 58.
Wow, that's about 56 more than I could eat.
That's not true. You could get 6.
Okay.
You could do 6.
I love your confidence in my unprofessional eating abilities. Count is 0-2 now to Roy Higginbotham. And that pitch is high for a ball.
You could absolutely do it. I've seen you inhale a pizza.
Yeah, but they don't have Coney Island pizza eating contests now, do they?
Are hot dogs just like yucky to you? What's your thought?
I love hot dogs.
Well, then you could eat 6.
Okay, thank you. There's a foul ball down the line. I really do love hot dogs. Pretty much, I like a lot of food. There's a lot of food I don't like. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Roy Higginbotham from starter Tanner Apgar for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista. And that pitch is over just off the plate. Count squares at 2-2. Apgar 1 pitch away from recording a 1-2-3 inning. There's a pitch that's lifted high, very playable for the second baseman who makes the grab for the final out here in the visiting half of the first inning. So that's a 1-2-3 inning for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista. have to admit, with no runs, no hits, no errors, as I'm getting used to Pinnacle Bank with this particular color scheme, I'm just thrown off because attending Creighton Prep back in the day in Omaha, I had an association with the maroon and gold color
Absolutely.
scheme
Maroon's their colors.
for Papillion, and when I see Papillion
In bright red.
I'm just like, who is that?
Mm-hmm.
It just throws me off, and probably doesn't throw off most of the fans here. But when you're a Creighton Prep Junior J, as I am, you have an association for a
Oh, and
Monarchs winning tradition in maroon and gold.
and they wear maroon and gold like helmets and their jackets and everything. For some reason, they just have these jerseys. I don't know why. The only thought is that maybe it's trying to emulate the Huskers.
I think that's very possible. And go Big Red, by the way. We all can't wait for Matt Rule and the Huskers to
Bring us back.
bring back the glory.
It'll happen.
As the expanded playoff
Just
format
like Scott Frost.
certainly opens up the gate for Nebraska to get back into the big time. And it's going to be a lot of fun. First 7 games are extremely winnable. Just don't tell that to Deion Sanders and his son Shadur. As
Are they in your game?
Colorado visits Lincoln in week 2 of the season.
Shadur's supposed to be like a top 10 pick in the NFL draft this year, we think.
He's good. But the Black Shirts hope to have Shadur running for his life at Memorial Stadium in early September. Here we go. Easton Schneider to lead things off for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista. First pitch coming in from Luis Ayala, or is outside
Ethan
for the ball.
Ayala.
Ethan Ayala, thank you. I think there is a Luis Ayala in the big leagues, maybe, for the Marlins.
There's Ben and Ayala. I don't remember his name. He's like a catcher.
Okay. Count is 1-1. I'm thinking of kind of a speedy.
Oh, look at you go.
There is a Luis Ayala.
He's a big pitcher, but
there you go. Maybe there's a relation. His count is 2-1 now to Easton Schneider.
Maybe distant.
From Ethan Ayala. There's a high pitch, and boy, Ayala really has some velocity. Man, he throws hard.
He does not look like it.
When you look at Ethan Ayala, you don't realize there's a 90-mile-per-hour plus fastball.
Wait, was that a ball?
Coming at you, or at home plate.
Yeah, he really doesn't look the part, but we saw that earlier. We saw that earlier with 5'7", 155-pound Tanner Hosick for the who walked off the first one? I can't remember. Bellevue.
Okay.
He threw 92.
As they say in the mining business, dynamite comes in small packages. Alex Imig, the hitter, with Schneider showing a bit of a lead off of first base. Here comes the pitch from Ethan Ayala. He fires, and that ball struck into left field for a base hit. Good hit there by Alex Imig, and I think he was waiting on that fastball, and he took care of business, and now there are 2 on with nobody out for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista. Pinnacle Bank trying to follow the footsteps of one of their southern Omaha Metro suburban rivals, the Bellevue West Thunderbirds, DC Electric team that won on a walk-off earlier today and now has a 2-0 record in pool play. There's a sacrifice bunt advancing the runners. Ayala with a easy throw to first base to record the first out. Making the catch at first base was, I believe, Roy Higginbotham. And that's out number 1. Easton Schneider now at third. Alex Imig at second. Here comes the first pitch to Trent Levecki. That's outside for a ball.
Well,
Very rarely do you find a player that has so much impact on the outcome of a game with his arm in the outfield, but we saw that from Levecki yesterday. Here comes
uh-oh. He
a
doesn't know
pitch,
where
and
it
he
went.
gets away, gets underneath his legs, and racing to home plate and scoring is Easton Schneider on the wild pitch.
You know what? I'm finding something here. I thought it before that play. Now I really know. That mask doesn't fit him. It's it he can't see great out of it
That's a problem.
because he was struggling to like grab the ball.
Right. Well, yeah, if you can't see very well out your mask, it's not a good thing.
Vale.
Here's a fly ball to Braxton Vale. He makes a catch
Oh!
here, and they're going to test his arm, and that throw is well offline. Sliding in with a good head of steam is Alex Imig, and it's 2-0 now. Good effort there by Braxton Vale, and the sacrifice fly from Trent Levicki, able to make it a 2-0 ball game. And what can you say about Trent Levicki? He makes a difference. That's for sure. Score is now 2-0 here in the bottom of the first inning in favor of Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista. There are two down, nobody on. Pinnacle Bank staking themselves to an early 2-0 advantage at Fitzgerald Stadium here in Rapid City. Mike Fell with Oliver Fell. Happy to have you along on this Independence Day 2024. There's a base hit between the third baseman and the shortstop on the left side of the infield for Parker Ingram. Ingram had a critically significant RBI triple yesterday that really got the momentum and shifted in favor of Pinnacle Bank in that big win yesterday against South Kingstown, Rhode Island. Ryan Thompson, now the hitter, swings, clobbers the ball to right field, and it's dropped. Looks like that'll be an error on the right fielder as Thompson reaches base. That looked to be a pretty routine catch, and then at the last moment, the right fielder for Pueblo Azteca, Zachary Sanders, seemed to doubt whether he had the position or the angle that he needed, and he just did not secure the catch. So Thompson reaches base via a E9, an error on the right fielder. Reaching third on the air from first base is Parker Ingram. So runners at the corners with two outs now. Ethan Ayala facing Evan Eddy. First pitch is outside for ball one. Ethan Ayala throwing hard, but getting hit a little bit. Giving up 2 hits so far. Here comes the pitch, and that pitch is over for a strike. On deck is Blake Nissen for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Eddie. And that's swung on and missed for strike 2, and Ryan Thompson steals his first base of the game. And he now has a runner at first base. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Eddie, and that pitch is inside for a ball. Stay tuned. We have 2 more games coming your way tonight. Oliver Fell will have the play-by-play of both of those games, including the Hard Hats game around 7 o'clock. Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Ayala. That ball is lifted high and called for by Braxton Vale, who makes the catch to retire the side. But Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista, able to score 2 runs on 2 hits. There was 1 error committed, and there was 1 man left on base. After 1 inning of play, it's Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista 1, and the Pueblo Azteca nothing. This is Hard Hats TV.
Man, well, that is an interesting thing. Something to note. Last year in the tournament, these two teams played each other. They're both returning squads. In last year's tournament game, Pueblo won it 8-4. They were ahead almost the whole game. Took a 6-0 lead. Kind of coasted on their way to, of course, playing in the third place game, finishing third in pool play, though losing to Ross Frank and Rocky Mountain. But yeah, just an interesting thing there for the Azteca. Not quite doing the same deal as they did the other time, though it is earlier, so the pitching is a little fresher for both squads.
Thanks, Oliver. We now bring you the second inning. This is game 4 of our 6-game showcase. And if you love baseball and you are around Rapid City, maybe watching the game in the Black Hills region, this is the place to be for the next several days. This is an outstanding tournament. How many tournaments have been around for almost 50 years? Well, this one has. There's a pitch outside for a ball. Count goes to 1-0. Tanner Apgar trying to continue the success he established in the first inning with a 1-2-3 inning. Throws a pitch over for strike 1. Logan King, the cleanup hitter, waits for the pitch from Apgar, and that pitch is barely scraping the aluminum surface of the bat into the glove for strike 2. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Logan King. And that ball is lifted towards center field and caught for out number 1. King was being defended with very effective positioning as center fielder Dylan Wernley was able to make the grab. Now here comes Colton Calderon. No awareness of whether he's related to former big leaguer Jose Calderon. There's a pitch high inside.
Colton batted .417 in high school this season.
Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Colton Calderon. And that pitch is going to be a ball. Here comes the 2-0 pitch now to Colton Calderon from Tanner Apgar, with Pinnacle Bank on top 2-0 here in the second inning. There's a pitch over the plate. There's a foul on the roof of the pavilion.
Almost hit somebody standing over there. Oh, she's going to get it. Never mind, it went behind the ice machine. It's over. She was holding a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, they got little arms.
Oh, that's nice. Here comes the 2-1 count to Colton Calderon. He chops the ball foul, and we now are in key moment here in the top of the second inning with a 2-2 count, no score. Tanner Apgar hits his sign, throws home. Here comes the 3-2 pitch now to Colton Calderon. Apgar gets his sign. Here comes the payoff pitch. And that pitch is going to be swung on and missed as Colton Calderon makes very little progress on many fronts this week. This is news. This is comes a pitch from Apgar, and there's a strike. 2 outs. Gabe Wren, the batter, facing Tanner Apgar. And that ball is chopped back to the screen. Sun's starting to come out here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. We're in the top of the second inning. Nobody on, 2 out. And there's a swing and a miss by Gabe Wren. That's strike 3, and Tanner Apgar gets the job done yet again. He's faced the minimum through 2 innings. There are no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. Through an inning and a half of baseball here at Fitzgerald Stadium, it's Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista 2, Pueblo Azteca nothing. This is Hard Hats TV.
Looks like Ayala coming out for a second inning of work here. Got some interesting thing about Ayala. He's also a varsity football receiver and DB. Definitely has the build of one. Not the kind of guy you would expect to throw 90 either, but at Pueblo Central High School, he's a recipient of 6 separate scholarships. Also, member of Student Council, Italian Club, Newman Club, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and another club I forgot to list, and is going to Colorado State in Fort Collins to study mechanical engineering.
Wow. Very impressive. Earlier I mentioned Javier Baca as the leadoff hitter for Pueblo Azteca. A lot of people don't know this, but there is a Baca County in the southeastern corner of the Centennial State of Colorado, and I wonder if Javier Baca is related to the family name that is on Baca County. Baca County, not the largest or the most populated county in the southeast corner of Colorado, but it's a county I've mentioned many times covering severe weather when I was in Western Kansas radio back in the day. Blake Nissen will lead things off for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista.
You just can't see it. I don't know what it is, but he can't see it. Either that or he has really bad reaction time.
Or he needs assistance with regards to his peripheral vision. There's a pitch over the black for a strike. Count now even at 1-1. Thank all the parents, volunteers, everybody working so hard to make this tournament go. Next to us in a booth to our right, we've got Coach Kirby, Coach Ewing there too.
Yep.
Yeah, Coach Ewing. Count now
Both
3-1.
2 of our coaches, our first and third base, head manager, and then the assistant guy.
Yeah.
All here. They're taking notes about the
notes.
teams.
That's good scouting. Got work there. There's a 3-0 pitch. 3-1 pitch, and that's ball 4. Blake Nissen draws the base on balls. So a leadoff walk opens the gate for potential base traffic and maybe some more runs for Pinnacle Bank. They are in their Husker red and white uniforms today with the black hats, but the maroon and gold Papillion Monarch colored batting helmets. Notice the batting helmets, they never change. The other hats, the hats might change, the uniforms definitely may change, but the batting helmets stay the same, as do the shoes. Okay, here comes the 1-0 pitch now to Dylan Wernley from Ayala, and that ball is going to be bunted foul.
That was an odd one.
Down the third base line, and the count moves to 1-2.
He didn't really he parried that like an attack with a sword. He lowered it. He didn't push it out or try to catch it with the bat. He just kind of lowered it and tried to angle it off to the side.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch now to the number 9 hitter for Pinnacle Bank, Dylan Wernley. And he will actually see Ayala go ahead and throw the ball over to first base, trying to catch Blake Nissen off the bag between first and second. Here comes the throw home, and that is just off the plate to go to push things to 2-1. And there's a chop bunt that goes foul. Count at 2, remains at 2-2 for Dylan Wernley. So glad you're with us wherever you may be tuning in and watching. Shout out to all the folks back in the Omaha area. I'm proud to be from Omaha. Haven't been to Papillion too many times, but I used to go through that old tunnel on 84th.
Oh, off the front of it.
84th Street, and head on down towards Papillion once in a while. That tunnel is no longer there. Now it's just a big railroad bridge. But at one time there was a tunnel back in the 70s that would take you from I-80 and...
Oh, it hit him in the back of the head. That's the only reason it didn't
first.
go away.
Wow, there's a throw over to first, and the runner does not advance as his head took...
There's a backboard
on the back of his helmet, thankfully not his direct head itself. Took the ricochet on a bounce and had the ball go up in the air and not past the base runner. Here comes Ayala's 2-2 pitch to home plate. And that's a possible double play ball. Nope, it'll be just 1 out. The lead man gets over to second. That's Nissen, and Dylan Wernley is out on a ground out to the second baseman for the first out of this second inning. Right now, it's a 2-0 game in favor of Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista. Did you look up the origin of Mr. Baca in Baca County? I'll let you get to that between innings, Oliver. Here comes the pitch now to Easton Schneider, hitting with a runner in scoring position. He lifts the ball to center. Braxton Vale makes the catch for out number 2. Now here comes Alex Imig. Alex was able to score last inning. It's a 2-0 lead at the moment, the bottom of the second. Here comes the pitch from Ayala, and that ball is swung on and hit down the line. It may be in foul territory, and it's going to be caught for out number 3. So, in the bottom of the second inning for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista, there were no runs, there were no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We have a score of 2-0 in favor of Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista over Pueblo Azteca from Pueblo, Colorado. And you're watching the Firecracker Classic on Hard Hats TV. Oliver, tell us about Mr. Felipe Baca.
So I was looking into the name that came from that Baca County. That seems to be his big contribution. Felipe de Jesus Baca was a mid to late 1800s farmer and rancher out there who founded the town of Trinidad, which I believe would exist within Baca County. I
don't think so. Trinidad actually is further west of Baca County by quite a ways, if you must know.
Well,
yeah, so Trinidad should be right about there.
Wow, so he's way off. Maybe they just named it after him. Anyways, there was a split in there between counties from Los Animas.
I guess Los Animas.
Nope.
Okay.
It's not even an O.
All right. Well, there we go.
But
We're learning
yeah,
about Southern
named in
Colorado.
honor of his pioneer, and he was a big sheep guy.
Good deal. Now you know more about Felipe Baca and his contributions, and there may be some relation there to Javi and Baca,
Very
the
possible,
leadoff hitter
actually,
for
considering
yeah,
Pueblo.
considering Pueblo is the largest city in southern Colorado, unless you consider Colorado Springs, southern Colorado. At one time, Pueblo was the second largest city in Colorado behind Denver, and was much larger, believe it or not, than Colorado Springs or Fort Collins, which are now much larger cities today in Colorado. There's a chopper, and that goes foul. Leading off, it's going to be Pueblo Azteca's Frank Flores, as we have made our way into the top half of inning number 3. Tanner Apgar is off to a good start. He has 3 strikeouts. More importantly, it's been 6 up, 6 down against the Azteca so far. Pueblo is a community that celebrated a football national championship when the RMAC member school about 10 years ago in Kansas City was able to win a Division II football title. Here's a ball struck to center field. It's going to be corralled and thrown back to the infield by center fielder Dylan Wernley. But there's a leadoff hit for Frank Flores, and there goes Tanner Apgar's perfect game and no hit bid being spoiled simultaneously by that smash into right field from Frank Flores, the number 7 hitter in the Pueblo Azteca lineup. Now here comes Zachary Sanders. Sanders waits for the pitch, and that catches the outside edge for strike 1. On deck, it's Beto Robles. Wonder if he's related to Victor Robles.
Or Hansel
the
Robles.
Nationals, or Hansel. That's a good question there.
That's probably just a common name.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think those guys are Dominican.
Okay. By the way, our prayers are with everybody in Jamaica. I was reading earlier this
Yeah, it looks really
afternoon
bad.
about the damage in Jamaica. Also, stay cool if you're in Las Vegas today. A all-time record high temperature in Vegas. You and I were in Vegas 2 months ago, Oliver. Thankfully, it
Sure
wasn't all
felt
that hot
pretty
there.
hot.
It felt hot, but it wasn't apparently as hot as it is right now.
It was like 100. Don't short sell them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
It didn't feel like 100 to me. There's a throw off the plate. And a strike on a bunt.
Was that his own coach laughing?
You know?
I think it might have been.
I think it was.
I think his own coach giggled a little as he drove himself out of the box trying to reach that.
Zachary Sanders waits for the pitch from Tanner Apgar with a man on and nobody out in a 2-0 ball game. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and Sanders becomes the 4th strikeout victim for Tanner Apgar from Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista. So Pueblo, Colorado was the first place I ever was in my life, and I grew up in the Omaha area where Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista is from. And I'll never forget the moment.
Oh,
that ball
geez.
lifted high and deep and off the wall. Racing past third base, heading for home, is Frank Flores, and there's a stand-up double off the wall by number 9 hitter Beto Robles. What a long distance shot off of the shield sign in left field by Beto. And now it's a 2-1 ball game. And listen to all of these great Pueblo Azteca fans who have made the long trip north from the southern edge of the Colorado Front Range. Wow.
It's a very passionate fan base. We got to see that firsthand in Pueblo this year with the full strength of it. They just have a fun time. It's a party every game.
And it really is a great baseball community. Of course, the tradition in Pueblo, very deep with the Brooklyn Dodgers organization back in the 50s with Pee Wee Reese, Duke Snyder, Roy Campanella, all of those Dodgers 50s legends, Carl Erskine and others, all being in, and there's strike three on a bunt attempt that goes foul with 2 strikes. So Javier Baca is the 5th strikeout victim of the game for Tanner Apgar, and now Javier Baca, who we don't know but we think might be of some relation to legendary rancher and city of Trinidad founder Felipe Baca. He becomes the 2nd out of the inning. Braxton Vale now the hitter. Vale struck out his first time up back in the 1st inning. But to finish the story about Pueblo and the Dodgers organization, Pueblo definitely has a baseball tradition. Those are legendary National Leaguers that came through Pueblo. I don't think Jackie Robinson came through Pueblo, but
He went to Montreal.
But yeah, he got called up from Montreal. I think he came up through the American South in his minor league climb. Braxton Vale, the hitter, at second base, representing the tying run is Beto Robles. Here comes the 0-1 pitch with 2 outs from Tanner Apgar. That ball struck to right field. That's going to tie the ball game. Pueblo Azteca ties the game at 2-2 as Braxton Vale comes through with an RBI hit. And listen to these fans from Pueblo. These 2 teams battling for an opportunity to get to 2-0 in pool play. And the Azteca have roared back after falling behind with a 2-0 deficit back in the 1st inning. You can sense the momentum is squarely on the side of the young men from southern Colorado, many of whom have made commitments to play at Trinidad College. Trinidad, just north of the state line between Colorado and New Mexico. Roy Higginbotham, now the hitter. He popped up to the second baseman his first time up today. Throw back to Braxton Vale. Sends Braxton back to the bag. Tanner Apgar has pitched well, but he's in a bit of a predicament, giving up 2 runs, 2 tying runs here in the 3rd inning. And Apgar, he doesn't seem to be hitting his spots to me, Oliver.
Yeah, I can see where that's coming from. This happened with their pitcher yesterday, too, if I remember correctly. It felt like they were throwing some guys who maybe didn't have the longevity.
There's a pitch and a quick little tag there. Moves the count to 2-2 now. Higginbotham, an all-state starting pitcher, 1st team all-state starting pitcher in the great state of Colorado. But here's my little Pueblo story. So growing up in Omaha, I never thought I would ever have a moment like I had in Pueblo. I could feel something a little different. Here's a lifted ball to left field. That's caught for the final out of the inning. I'll get to my story in a moment as the side is retired. But Pueblo Azteca roars back, ties the game in the top of the 3rd inning with 2 runs. They were both earned on 3 hits. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on base. Through 2.5 innings of play here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City, it's the Pueblo Azteca 2 and the Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista, Nebraska team 2. This is Hard Hats TV. So here's my story. When I was in Pueblo, I was about to step inside a bank on a business meeting call, and all of a sudden, something seemed a little off, and I looked down, and there was a lizard on my shoe. And I had lived a good 30 years or so to that point, and I'd never had a lizard on my shoe until I went to Pueblo.
I mean, that's something. There are lizards, I suppose. I mean, I've been to Florida. There's like geckos on the walls of your hotel room there.
Wow.
Well, I don't know, it's Key West, so a little different than just Florida, but
Another thing I remember when I went to Pueblo was suburban Pueblo on the north side. You could drive along a road, and then you see these, like, what looks like a measurement, like a measuring stick, and flash flooding is a real concern in and around Pueblo. You got to be so careful because those slow moving gully washer thunderstorms really can create a lot of havoc. At Pueblo West, Pueblo is just great. Pueblo West is a great part of Pueblo community on the western suburban side of Pueblo, and I love seeing the Sangre de Cristo Mountains from Pueblo. Here comes a high pitch. It's inside.
what does that mean in Spanish?
I think it's Sangre is blood of Christ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you, Oliver.
I wasn't sure you had it in you.
I'm proud of you too. I took 7 years of Spanish, Oliver.
Yeah, but it's been like 40 years.
Yeah, Sangre and Cristo, those are.
The Cristo was the gimme, but Sangre was not.
Yeah, well, it is Sangre de Cristo, the blood of Christ mountains to the west of Pueblo. Here comes a 3-1 pitch, and there's a chopper just above the home dugout for Pinnacle Bank. Count now going full, 3-2. Battle of the starting pitchers here at home plate in a 2-2 duel here in the bottom of the third inning between both ball clubs. And Ayala very frustrated with that ball call as Apgar draws a free pass and makes Ethan Ayala work for every bit of that walk. Looks like there's some communication going on in the middle of the infield as Pueblo Azteca is going to be looking for a double play ball momentarily. There's a foul back to the screen. I see that one of the post 22 buses just came through the parking lot area. That might seem to indicate maybe the South Kingstown, Rhode Island team is in the neighborhood.
You would hope so. I hope it's not actually the Hard Hats. They have a ways to wait.
Well, I think it could be the Hard Hats bus taking the Rhode Island team around.
I mean, we could just drive from
I'm going to
home.
think the South Kingstown post 39 Rhode Island team did not drive here. They're probably borrowing the bus for post 22. I did see our good friend Bubba here earlier.
How do you think they did that connection? Do you think they went to like O'Hare or something?
I do. I think they probably flew from Providence to Chicago on United, and then probably flew direct from Chicago to, maybe to Denver, and then connected up to Rapid. Who knows? There's a strike 3. Trent Levicki goes down on strikes. And give Ethan Ayala credit. He takes the frustration of issuing ball 4 on what he considered to be a strike 3 pitch, and then he gets his next opposing batter for the first strikeout of the afternoon for Mr. Ayala. Now here comes Parker Ingram. He's had an outstanding tournament so far for Pinnacle Bank. Here comes the pitch, and Ingram drills the ball deep to right, but it's going to be caught. Throw back to first is not in time.
Worth a shot.
But it was worth a shot, and Ingram retired for the first time in this ball game with a fly out to right field. Here comes Ryan Thompson. Thompson able to reach on an error, and he stole a base back in the first inning. Ayala seems very comfortable on the mound. Some pitchers seem a little stilted. Not Ayala. He just kind of lets it flow. And you just sense that Ethan Ayala loves to pitch. As Thompson swings and misses at the first pitch in this AB. Ayala looks back at first base, checks the runner, gets the sign from Gabe Wren, now fires, and that ball chopped past the third base coach's box for strike 2. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Happy to have you along with us. If you're watching from, whether you're watching from southern Colorado, maybe you're right by the Sangre de Cristo Mountains right now. Maybe you're kind of around Canyon City, who knows?
Ooh.
As there's a chopper off the leg of Ryan Thompson. That had to hurt just a bit. Maybe you're watching from the southern part of the Omaha metro area. Maybe you're just having a relaxing day with a cool beverage in Sarpy County. We're glad you're with us, and happy 4th of July to all of you out there watching this ball game from the Firecracker Classic on Hard Hats TV.
Just take second,
Tanner
I guess.
Apgar able to steal a base and
doesn't even have to
move
slide
into scoring position as the potential go-ahead run. Ryan Thompson down in the count, waits for the 1-2 pitch from Ethan Ayala. Here comes the pitch. That ball slapped to short. Throw to first is in time for out number 3. And that gets Ethan Ayala out of trouble and keeps the score tied at 2-2 as we head to the 4th inning in game number 4 of this Firecracker Classic ball game. To recap the bottom of the 3rd inning, there were no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We've played 3 here in Rapid City. Pinnacle Bank Papillion, Nebraska 2, and Pueblo Azteca 2. And coming up next, this is Hard Hats TV.
A little tidbit I found online looking things up here. Braxton Vale, a feel-good adoption story. Chuck Vale, and I gotta find the article again. I want to say Holly. Whatever, they took him in from birth, and he's been very thankful, very happy coming up in that environment. Felt very at home in the community, and has of course gone off to great baseball success, getting a scholarship to Trinidad State, which he will be going to his sophomore year next year.
Thanks for sharing that story, Oliver. I want to give a shout out to our good friend Steve Ammerman, and he brought up something of interesting note. So Ryan Thompson, of course, he is the catcher for Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista. Ryan Thompson, locally, a very famous name, as he is the head coach of the men's basketball team that reached back-to-back Final Fours. And we want to give a little tip of the cap. Happy 4th of July to our friend Steve Ammerman, the voice of Black Hills State Yellow Jackets athletics, checking out our broadcast today. Here comes a pitch from Tanner Apgar. It's just off the plate for a ball.
Who's whistling? Is
I'm
that a bird?
Sure, it's a bird. Is a bird?
There's a bird calling for something.
You know, the bird is chirping on this American holiday. There's a pitch over for strike 1.
You're right next to Rapid Creek.
We are. There's a lot of wildlife. In fact, I saw a few pelicans the last few days.
I saw a big crane during the Veterans when I was walking around.
Nice. I saw a deer when I came to pick you up last night, just over by the Strain Chiropractic building. Count now 1-2 to Logan King, the cleanup hitter. He flew out to center field this last time up.
Oh, off
And
the.
there's a
Is he okay?
foul ball off the umpire. I think everybody's okay.
Okay. Wasn't sure if they
By
hit
the
pad.
way, I did notice something. I don't hear the loudspeaker from Storybook Island like I did in the past. You used to be able to hear like the Disney music from Storybook Island. I don't hear that anymore. Maybe they lowered their volume, or maybe they just don't play It's a Small World After All around the clock anymore.
I never heard it when I was walking around there.
Oh, okay.
They would say like admission is
Okay. Well, last
or
year I used
whose
to hear
purse
it.
is this?
Last year I used to hear it all the time. And
I
I don't think,
don't know about. I don't remember that.
my hearing could be different than yours.
Yeah, maybe you were tuned in for it.
I know I have selective hearing. My wife can attest to that.
Yeah.
Ask another.
Amen, brother.
Count as 2-2 to Logan King now. Yeah, you can attest. There's strike 3. You weren't supposed to say that.
Okay.
You really got your dad on that one. There's one out to lead things off for Pueblo Azteca's cleanup hitter, Logan King. He goes down on strikes. And now Tanner Apgar with 6 strikeouts in 3 1/3 innings of work. 6 of the 10 outs recorded for Pinnacle Bank coming via the K at the plate. Here comes Colton Calderon. First pitch over for a strike. Don't know if Colton Calderon is related to Jose Calderon.
NBA All-Star.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of a different Calderon. There's a Calderon that played. Ivan Calderon.
Mm-hmm.
Is he related to Ivan Calderon? Ivan Calderon played for the Chicago White Sox, and he had quite a bit of jewelry, as I recall, when he played.
Jose Calderon.
There's a pitch outside for a ball, and yeah, I
Two-time
remember.
gold medalist for the Spanish national team.
Wow.
And All-Star with the Toronto Raptors.
Okay. Well, I would have to give Jose credit. He made me, for a moment, forget Ivan Calderon, who was who I was thinking of in baseball. There's a grounder. It's off the edge of the glove of the shortstop. That'll likely be an error.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Has to be an error on Alex Imig for Pinnacle Bank.
He got a glove.
So reaching on is Colton Calderon. Don't know if he has any relation to Ivan Calderon from the old Comiskey Park era Chicago White Sox in the 80s. And he reaches first base on an E6. It's a small world. He could have relation to Ivan Calderon. Now here comes Gabe Wren. Here's a swing and a miss by Gabe. Ivan Calderon had a really good power stroke. He played on a lot of bad teams, but he did play with Hall of Famer Harold Baines.
A top 1,000 most common name in the world.
Oh.
There are 800,000 people with the name Calderon.
I'm still sticking with the possibility there's a relation to Ivan Calderon.
Sure, there's a chance, man.
0-2
Go for it.
Now to Gabe Wren.
It's 685th in the U.S.
All right. Well, you might want to look up Ivan Calderon. He was good.
I looked it up.
Base hit on the left side of the infield. And through is a hit for Gabe Wren. And now there are 2 men on with 1 out. And here comes Frank Flores, who scored and singled his first time up back in the 3rd inning. We have a 2-2 tie ball game. Pueblo Azteca at the plate is out hit Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista 4-2. Each team has committed 1 miscue officially. Here comes the pitch to Frank Flores. It's off the plate for a ball. Tanner Apgar, he has struck out half a dozen Pueblo Azteca hitters. But dealing with a tight jam here with only 1 out and 2 men on first and second base, respectively. There's a pitch just off the plate for ball 2. Apgar really wanted that pitch to be a strike. Home plate umpire saw things in a different direction. Here comes the pitch from Tanner. as he looks back at second base, and that pitch is off the plate for ball 3. And now Pueblo Azteca with Zachary Sanders in the on-deck circle, threatening to load the bases here in a 2-2 tie ball game in the top of the 4th inning. We have had some very exciting baseball in the last day and a half to start the Firecracker Classic, that's for sure. Here comes a pitch. That's over for a strike. Count now moves to 3-1. Well, we gave a shout out to Steve Ammerman. Let's give a shout out to his sons, Logan and Jack.
We're giving nepotism shout outs now? I'm just kidding.
I'm just big shout outs where they're due. And I know I've met Logan and Jack, and they're students at University of Nebraska, Lincoln.
They went through the post 320 system. Right?
And they did. Yes, they did. Here comes
so they're Legion baseball players?
They are. So happy 4th of July to Logan and Jack. There's a ball lifted to center field, and it will be caught, and neither runner will tag up. So there's the second out of the inning. A big out for Tanner Apgar as Flores flies out to center, and that ball was handled securely by Dylan Wernley in center. And here comes Zachary Sanders. Sanders struck out his first time up. We'll see what he does this time around. Go-ahead run is at second base. Another potential run hanging out at first. Tanner Apgar dials into the plate, takes something off, pulls the string on Sanders. There's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Zachary Sanders, right-handed hitter, trying to give Pueblo Azteca their first lead of the afternoon. And stepping off the rubber is Tanner Apgar before he throws to home plate. Calderon at second, Wren at first. There's a chopper. Force play at second is made cleanly as shortstop Alex Imig flips to second baseman Easton Schneider, and that retires catcher Gabe Wren, who was coming from first to second, and that will retire the side in the top of the 4th inning. To recap the top of the 4th, there were no runs scored. Tanner Apgar had to work out of a bit of a jam, and he did so successfully, stranding a pair of runners at first and second. There were no runs, there was 1 hit, there was 1 error, and there were 2 men left on base. We have a tie ball game. Pueblo Azteca on the southern edge of the Colorado Front Range. Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista on the southern edge of the Omaha metro area. These 2 teams on the 4th of July locked up at 2-2 as we have reached the middle of the 4th inning. You're watching the 49th annual Firecracker Classic on Hard Hats Television.
All right. Reminder, tomorrow night we've got the fireworks show against Missoula, between the Hard Hats and Missoula. We will go over all of that as it gets closer, but tomorrow night we will be, I'll man up the camera. I'll show you some of it. You're going to want to be here in person, though. It looks a lot better. You can hear it. You can feel it. If you can't, it'll be on the broadcast. Big fireworks show. Plenty put into this for the Firecracker tournament.
Excited to pass along a Major League Baseball score. My San Diego Padres defeated the Texas Rangers 3-2 in Arlington on the 4th of July this afternoon. Great road trip for the Padres as they defeat Mad Max Scherzer in front of a big crowd on, I'm sure, a hot Thursday afternoon in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Leading things off for Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista is Evan Eddy. Evan with a chopper to third. Handled on a bounce. Throw to first in time to get the leadoff hitter for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Great play made that time by third baseman Colton Calderon. And we just don't know if Colton's related to Ivan Calderon. But
It's not gonna.
we're going to just say, I guess we're going to say probably not. So
Just a guess.
just,
When 1 in 5,000 people in America is named Calderon.
okay, all right. Here's a ball chopped back to the screen by Blake.
It's not quite like Nick
Nissen.
Larson, where it's like there's like 8 people out there with this name.
Okay. Here comes the 0-1 pitch now to Blake Nissen from Ethan Ayala. That's a swing and a miss. And man, did Ayala seemingly cause Nissen to just swing at what appeared to be just a blur. Ayala really has it going on right now on the mound for Pueblo Azteca. There's a pitch back to the screen. What's really stood out to me, Oliver Fell, is the fact that we have seen such great starting pitching so far in this tournament.
Well, that's not too surprising when you get everybody throwing their aces and secondary guys days 1 and 2. What is interesting is Pueblo's doing so well without Roy Higginbotham on the mound.
Blake Nissen strikes out. That's the second K of the ball game. So Ethan Ayala, not Luis Ayala of the Washington Nationals. Ethan Ayala, he allowed the first 2 hitters he faced to score back in the top of the first. No one has scored since for Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista, and there's a base hit by Dylan Wernley, the number 9 hitter, turning over the lineup for the 3rd time through the order. And here comes Easton Snyder. He's 0 for 1, walked and scored back in the first inning. So Easton Snyder coming to the plate, left-handed hitter facing right-hander Ethan Ayala. Ayala has just pitched great after giving up 2 early runs. No one for Papillion-La Vista has crossed home plate since. Ayala looks back at the first base bag. Here comes a pitch that is just off the plate for a ball. I want to give a big shout out to the Post 22 Hard Hats from right here in Rapid City. They won the Pueblo Azteca tournament last month.
Wood bat tournament.
We
didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, when you win a tournament on the road and you're using equipment you didn't know you were supposed to bring with you, you are doing really well. And the 42 and 10 Post 22 Hard Hats are doing very well right now. And they will play tonight. We'll have it for you here on Hard Hats TV. There's a pop-up into the infield, called for by the shortstop, who makes the catch to retire the side as Javier Baca gets the 3rd and final out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Well, we are having some fun at the old ballpark. It's America's birthday, and it's America's pastime. It's Nebraska versus Colorado in American Legion baseball here in South Dakota. We're glad you're with us as we celebrate our 50 nifty states. Oliver, what's your favorite state?
Well, there's a couple that are definitely not. New Jersey, not a favorite. Not a big fan of California either. It's cool that they have the beaches, but the people, I don't know. Arizona's hot. Probably not. I mean, it's cool, but it's not, I don't think it's for me. I think it's gotta be, I think that it's hard to go wrong with a place like Colorado, but I could see myself enjoying somewhere else that's kind of not humid, a little more green, a little more naturey. I don't know. I could see myself enjoying. I like Colorado. I could see myself enjoying Utah. I could see myself enjoying Montana or Idaho as well.
I've never sat down and ranked my favorite states, but I will say
New
this,
Jersey's
and
number
get
50.
ready, everybody, with Pinnacle Bank watching. There is no place like Nebraska. That's my favorite state. It's also my home state.
Yeah.
There's no place like Nebraska, that's for sure. Zachary Sanders, Beto Robles, and Javier Baca due up for the Pueblo Azteca. Actually, Beto Robles, check that. He will lead things off as Zachary Sanders grounded out on a fielder's choice to end the fourth inning. So we bring you the fifth inning in a 2-2 tie between two ball clubs that each won a game yesterday and are trying to match Bellevue West at 2-0 in pool play. This is a very big game for both of these teams here on day number 2 of the Firecracker Classic. There's a pitch off the plate for strike one as Robles decided to extend with the bat on the bunt attempt, and we now are going to have a conference. They may not call this a strike. I'm not sure what they considered a level of commitment. They say it is a strike. Some of the Pueblo fans were not happy with that. A lot of emotions on every pitch in this ball game between Pueblo Azteca and Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Here comes the pitch from Tanner Apgar. That's off the dish. And the count moves to 1-2. Tanner has struck out 6 hitters in 4 innings for Pueblo Azteca. There's a pitch, and it's swatted back to the screen, and the count remains at 1-2. We're getting to that point in the baseball season. We're really in the heart of the season now, and we're over halfway through a number of games played, but it really is the heart of the season. There is a flare that's going to drop and bounce over the right fielder, and that's going to be a leadoff double for Beto Robles.
He's having a game.
What a great start to this fifth inning for Pueblo Azteca. Beto Robles now with 2 doubles, 2 for 2. Hitting in the number 9 spot in the Pueblo Azteca order. And here comes Javier Baca. We're not sure if he's related to Felipe Baca, who started Trinidad, Colorado, and who has his name on Baca County in the southeast corner of Colorado. Here comes the pitch of Tanner Apgar, and that ball is fouled away. Javier, 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. Got a nice mix of white clouds and dark clouds and blue sky all around the ballpark here on the west side of Rapid City, where Fitzgerald Stadium is located. You're watching Hard Hats TV coverage of the 49th Annual Firecracker Classic. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you in game number 4 of day 2 of our 29-game showcase of this great American tournament. There's a bouncer on the bunt attempt, a sac bunt to Tanner Apgar that advances Beto Robles as the potential go-ahead run from second to third base. And Javier Baca does his job effectively, giving himself up, trading it out for 90 feet of advancement for his teammate Beto Robles. That'll be a 1-3 putout if you're scoring along with us. And here comes Braxton Vale. Vale had an RBI single back in the third. Chance to give his team the lead here, and I think he did it. That's a long fly ball to center. here comes Robles with the go-ahead run. How about Braxton Vale coming through with a long-distance fly ball to deep center to make it a 3-2 lead for Pueblo Azteca. Braxton Vale gets it done with that quintessential deep sacrifice fly to center field right there to bring home Beto Robles with the go-ahead run. So a pair of sacrifices, once with small ball, the other with the long ball, brings home Beto Robles, who led things off with a bloop double, if you want to call it that, in left field to start this fifth inning. Now here comes Roy Higginbotham. He's a first-team All-Stater in the great state of Colorado as a starting pitcher, trying to make things happen here at the plate. He takes a 1-1 pitch, lifts the ball high, and it's deep,
Whoa.
and it's carrying,
Whoa.
and it's off the wall. And that's a stand-up double for Roy Higginbotham.
That ball had way more carry than I thought.
That ball really sailed. And we see a little flex there as Roy extends his right arm.
Well, he had 4 home runs in high school this season. Also had 3 triples. That's a home run in almost any high school ballpark. That is that ball went at least 380.
And it's definitely a home run at mile high elevation. I want to point that out too. Of course,
Pueblo's not.
is at 4,200 feet, I believe, above sea level, if my memory serves correct. Yes, I do memorize things like town elevations. By the way, I love the paddle boats through the heart of Pueblo. Makes me feel like I'm in San Antonio. And I love downtown Pueblo. It's such a neat place. Logan King, the hitter now. Tanner Apgar delivers the pitch. That's outside for ball 1. I'm going to dedicate this broadcast to one of my dad's best friends in the Omaha area, Dennis Walsh, who passed away early this morning. Denny, a salesman for many years and a very dedicated Creighton University J-backer for a lot of years. Good husband, good father, good man. Denny Walsh, great Creighton fan, passing away today. As my parents let me know that about an hour ago. Count now 2-1 to Logan King from Tanner Apgar. Pueblo Azteca leading 3-2. With a little bit of a lead, it's Roy Higginbotham at second base. Apgar delivers a 2-1 pitch. And that's a bouncer back to the screen, and Higginbotham will take third base on a wild pitch. That pitch was extremely wild, and I'd say that catcher Ryan Thompson, no, not the Black Hills State Ryan Thompson, didn't have much of a chance to handle that hard spike right before home plate. Here comes a 3-1 pitch now to Logan King, and that ball is fouled back to the top of the netting behind home plate, and the count is now full at 3-2.
Serious wind picking up, heading out to left field, left center maybe.
And that explains perhaps Higginbotham's ball getting into the jet stream here at the Fitzgerald Stadium Park and carrying all the way to the wall. There's a smash to third, handled well. Throw to first in time, and Pueblo Azteca strands Roy Higginbotham at third base. Great glove work and a nice throw for Pinnacle Bank's hot corner Parker Ingram to make it keep it a 3-2 ball game. Pueblo Azteca does score thanks to a pair of impressive sacrifice ABs. Pueblo Azteca scores 1 run on 2 hits, both doubles. There were no errors, And there was one very significant base runner stranded at third base. We have played 4.5 innings of this 7-inning contest. It's Pueblo Azteca 3 and Papillion-La Vista Pinnacle Bank 2. This is Hard Hats TV. To recap, to get you ready now for the bottom of the 5th inning, Papillion-La Vista will send the heart of the order, Alex Imig, Tanner Apgar, and Trent Levicki to the plate, and the very dangerous Parker Ingram will bat if anyone can get on base. And I sense we may be getting close to a rain shower. I hope not. I don't sense a thunderstorm, but I wouldn't be shocked if we get our first rain delay of the day. We will have to see. It's really getting dark here at the ballpark.
I'd hate for there to be raining on 4th of July. That surely gets in the way of your fireworks, no?
Well, depends. It's passing showers are just part of summertime life.
If the ground's all wet, that's probably a good thing, actually.
Here when you're in the Black Hills.
Then nothing gets on fire.
Here we go. Alex Imig to lead things off. Alex 1 for 2. Singled and scored back in the 1st inning. Pinnacle Bank Papillion has not scored since their first 2 hitters crossed home plate at the very beginning of this game. Ethan Ayala has settled down and locked things down for the most part. And even though Ethan only has a pair of strikeouts, he's getting the job done as we make our way into the 5th inning. Ethan Ayala just seemingly with a passion to pitch. He seems to just love what he's doing out there. And he's never fazed by any situation. He seems, from an anxiety standpoint, to have conquered any dramatic elements in the moment, whatever that moment may be. Count goes to 3-1. Some of the fans not happy with the balls and strike call that we saw there. Here comes a pitch from Ayala, and that ball is laced into right field for a base hit to lead things off for Pinnacle Bank Papillion here in the 5th inning. Want to mention that yesterday in Game 2 of our Day 1 coverage, you may recall Pinnacle Bank had a 5-3 lead. A 3-0 lead. They gave up that lead, trailed 5-3, and then they rallied and put up 7 runs in innings 5, 6, and 7. They're looking to get back to that script here as they come to the plate in the bottom of the 5th. There's a ball smashed to left field, and it is caught. And now the rain is coming down, and yep, my Midwestern instincts prove true. I can sense the rain, and here it is. But we will play through the rain on this turf field unless it gets a little bit too much to handle for the participants. So there's a fly out to left field for out number 1. Alex Imig, who represents the tying run, he stays at first. And there's a wild pitch by Ayala, and Imig advances to second base. So now Pinnacle Bank has put the leadoff man on board in the bottom of the 5th. And during an intermittent rain shower here on the 4th of July, Pinnacle Bank has a man in scoring position, and Trent Levicki will try to drive Imig home right here, right now. Here comes a pitch, and Ayala just about hit the face of Trent Levicki, who
maybe a little slippery hand
just in time, and now it's raining a bit harder.
Ayala, stay composed.
Ethan Ayala pitches through the raindrops and draws a swing and a miss there from Levicki, and the count is now 2-1.
This is a moment to shout out the invention of the brim on a cap.
Yes.
Nobody has to close their eyes as it hits their face.
Here we go. The pitch from Ayala is just off the plate. And the count goes to 3-1, and now it is pouring rain. Everybody's getting completely drenched. and we're seeing that wave effect with the ball going off the top of the dugout, and we're going to call the action and stop as
Oh my
Ayala says,
goodness.
do I have to? And this is a torrential downpour, South Dakota style here,
Yeah, it is.
as we will have a rain delay. Even though we're on a turf field, it is really
Hey, look,
coming
blue sky.
down here as a rain shower has managed to make its way to Fitzgerald Stadium for the second time in as many days, actually the third time in as many as 2 days. As we had 2 rain delays yesterday, and now here's our first rain delay this afternoon.
Looks like they came prepared. Looks like Pueblo came prepared with their umbrellas, though. Good for them. I see a Broncos umbrella.
There is a Denver Broncos umbrella. Broncos are a big deal in Pueblo. Of course, the entire Colorado Front Range you
Oh,
can
and it's done.
paint orange. And the downpour part of this rain shower has ended. No lightning, though, has been recorded. So that means we should be able to get right back out there and
Oh,
play
never mind. Let's pick it back up.
if we want to. It's just up to the umpires to make the decision as to when to resume play. If you're Ethan Ayala, you want to get out there and pitch. You don't want to be on the bench for 20 minutes.
Oh, and
that's
what Pinnacle liked about last time. Is that once they got through the starter, they ate up the reliever, and you don't want to have to go into the pen here against this squad. That's why they did so well in those final 3 innings.
South Post 39, a team from South Kingstown, Rhode Island is here. They are sitting in the stands underneath the pavilion canopy. It's good to see the team from our visitors from the east with us, and Oliver will have the game coming up involving Post 39 at the conclusion of this game. It is a 3-2 score. Pueblo Azteca leading Pinnacle Bank Papillion from the Omaha area. But the Pinnacle Bank with 1 out has the tying run at second base when we get back from this rain delay.
Enjoy a look at our mountain.
Yeah, we can look at the mountain. Let's give you some scores from around America on this Independence Day. The San Diego Padres defeated the Texas Rangers 3-1. Michael King gets the victory there for the Pods, who win 2 out of 3 in Texas against the Rangers after winning 2 out of 3 over the weekend against the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. Also, earlier today in the Steel City in Pittsburgh, the St. Louis Cardinals defeated the Pirates 3-2. Cardinals get a big road win there. In the top of the 6th inning at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington, it's the Baltimore Orioles and the Seattle Mariners all tied at 2. Kirby getting the start today for Seattle, George Kirby. The Oakland A's currently shutting out the Los Angeles Angels 3-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Final scores from earlier today. The Nationals beat the Mets this morning 1-0. Mets drop below the 500 mark and lose the series to the Nats. The Cincinnati Reds win a series in the Bronx over the New York Yankees, beating the Yankees 8-4 earlier today. And we're getting ready to resume action. The Minnesota Twins won a rain-called 12-3 victory over Detroit. Twins playing some good baseball under skipper Rocco Baldelli. The Houston Astros beat the Blue Jays 5-3 north of the border. And in the 12th inning, the Red Sox pull out a 1-run win over the Miami Marlins 6-5 to raise their record to a solid 47-39. Other scores to tell you about. They both involve Chicago Windy City teams. The first place Cleveland Guardians beat the last place Chicago White Sox 8-4. And at Wrigley Field, it was the Chicago Cubs getting off a long losing streak, defeating the Philadelphia Phillies, the first place Phillies, 10-2 in Illinois earlier today. And that's a look at scores around Major League Baseball. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Oliver fine-tuning the camera as Ethan Ayala is allowed plenty of warm-up pitches, and we are at a key moment in this game. The Pueblo Azteca team, who trailed early 2-0, has rallied to take a 3-2 lead. And now with one out in the bottom of the fifth inning, Pinnacle Bank Papillion with the tying run at second base with Trent Levicki, the cleanup man, due up here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Yep, we're father and son. Happy to be along with you on Hard Hats TV on this Independence Day. Oliver, you're adjusting the cameras. Are we ready to roll?
Yeah, I just had to get our. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Good deal. So here we go. Ethan Ayala waiting for Trent Levicki to enter the batter's box, and that was a short rain delay, shortened in part because not only has the rain stopped altogether,
Did we restart
but
the at bat or?
we do not. We resume the at bat with 3 balls and 1 strike. Here we go. The pitch from Ayala coming in, but we did not have any lightning. That's why we didn't have an extended delay, and we're happy for that. And there's ball 4, and that's ball 4. Trent Levicki is on first base, so the double play is now in order, but the go-ahead run is at first base for Pinnacle Bank Papillion.
Ethan's in a predicament. How does he dry off his hand? What does he use? His glove? No, that's wet. His uniform? No, that's wet. His hat? No, that's also wet.
Well, I think he's going to be finished
Okay.
as Ayala thanks his infield, wishes everybody the best, and we'll have a pitching change here. And listen to these incredible fans for Pueblo Azteca, just going wild for Ethan Ayala, who pitched very well and stands to be the pitcher of record if the bullpen can record 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth inning. If you can go 4 innings in a 7-inning game and leave with the lead, you are the pitcher of record. We now have a substitution on the mound, and let's tell you about who number 9 is for Pueblo Azteca. Coming in relief of Ethan Ayala, who works 4 1/3 innings today. Is trying to identify the pitcher for Pueblo Azteca. We don't have any numbers.
It's Barger.
Oh, J.J. Barger, thank you. So J.J. Barger on in relief of Ethan Ayala. Big spot here for Pinnacle Bank. For the second day in a row, can Pinnacle Bank Papillion follow a pattern in which they took the lead, lost the lead, and then regained the lead and went on to win? That's what happened yesterday for Papillion-La Vista against Post 39 South Kingstown, Rhode Island. We will see what happens here. J.J. Barger in a big spot on in relief. The 2 runners at first and second belong to starting pitcher Ethan Ayala, who just received a standing ovation from the Pueblo Azteca faithful here on rain-soaked Fitzgerald Stadium. Mike Fell with you on a 4th of July here at the Firecracker Classic. Parker Ingram, the hitter. 1 for 2 today. There's a stolen base attempt, a double steal, and they're going to say the bag is stolen by Imig at third, and Levicki, without a throw in that direction at second base, also takes a bag. So a double steal against new right-handed relief pitcher J.J. Barger, who has come out of the bullpen, gives Pinnacle Bank a golden opportunity with 1 out to not only tie the game, but perhaps regain the lead here in the home half of the 5th inning. Parker Ingram waits for a 2-0 pitch, fouls the ball back to the netting, and the count goes 2-1.
Wait, did they get him or not?
They did not get him.
Oh.
Here we go. Here comes the 2-1 pitch now to Ingram. And that pitch is over for a strike. The count goes to 2-2. In the on-deck circle is Ryan Thompson. Big moment here for Parker Ingram, who's had an outstanding tournament to this point. Here comes a 2-2 pitch to Parker. That's high and way outside the zone. And we are now full at 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. That 3-2-1 count. 2 on with just 1 out. Both base runners in scoring position. And there's ball 4. J.J. Barger let Parker Ingram off the hook. And the bases are loaded now for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Ryan Thompson, who is 0 for 1 and reached on an error and stole a base earlier in this game. And Pinnacle Bank now going to put their closer up in the bullpen, it appears, as a bullpen pitcher and the catcher head out to loosen up in the home bullpen.
Why is Apgar going back out? That's him.
Oh, it's Apgar. I guess he's going to loosen up after the rain delay and how long this bottom of the 5th has been. So there will not be a pitching change. It's just Tanner Apgar re-loosening himself, ready to come back in, it appears, in the top of the 6th inning. Here comes a high pitch, and now it's 3-0, and Ryan Thompson may be able to draw an RBI walk here. J.J. Barger suddenly really struggling with his control. Here comes Barger's pitch. That's over right down central for strike 1. Can J.J. Barger get out of this jam? Pueblo Azteca looking for a double play or a force play at the plate. There's a ball hit hard and all the way to the wall. 1 run scores, 2 runs score, and the runners will hold at second and third on a 2-run RBI double by Ryan Thompson off of relief pitcher J.J. Barger. Those 2 runs that just scored belong to starting pitcher Ethan Ayala today. And now it is a 4-3 ball game, and for the second time in this tournament, in 2 games, Pinnacle Bank Papillion has rallied after giving up an early lead to retake the lead in the late innings. Ryan Thompson, with 1 swing of the bat, able to drive the ball all the way back to the McKee Ford sign in left field on a bounce, on a line, has given Papillion-La Vista the lead back after they led 2-0 through 2 innings earlier in this game. So Alex Imig and Trent Levicki score, and there's a strikeout by J.J. Barger on Evan Eddy, his first K of the game. And now here comes a big at-bat with Blake Nissen coming up with 2 on in scoring position. 2 runners at second and third that represent huge insurance run capabilities. Barger's first pitch is outside for a strike, for a ball. Barger does have a base open here. Dylan Wernley is in the on-deck circle for Pinnacle Bank. There's a pitch, over for a ball. Count now 1-1. Blake Nissen waits for the pitch from J.J. Barger. That's over for a strike. And the left-handed hitter Blake Nissen now trailing in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Barger, trying to strand 2 men in scoring position. There's a ball hit off his glove. This might be trouble, and a run scores. Barger able to get the ground ball he was looking for. He just couldn't secure the ball as it touched his glove, and that'll be an infield hit on a smash by Nissen that will bring home Parker Ingram, and that makes the score 5-3. That is a huge insurance run scored for Pinnacle Bank. Papillion-La Vista, who has now plated 3 runs in the home half of the 5th inning. Dylan Wernley, who singled back in the 4th inning and is 1 for 2 today, up to bat, trying to bring home Ryan Thompson from third base with runners at the corners and 2 out. There's a foul ball onto the grassy berm, and there's one boy out there who's going to chase it down. And there's another young man looking to see if they should chase it down as well. They decide that they don't have a chance on that one. Here comes the 0-2 pitch now to Dylan Wernley. Barger fires from the mound. There's a pop-up to the shortstop to end the inning. But for Papillion-La Vista, Pinnacle Bank, they have scored 3 runs with a big-time rally and taken a 5-3 lead as Ethan Ayala and J.J. Barger give up 3 runs to Pinnacle Bank Papillion in the bottom of the 5th inning. For Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista, they scored 3 runs to take the lead, to retake the lead. All of the runs were earned. There were a total of 3 hits. Check that, 4 hits. There were no errors, and there were 2 men left on base. We have played 5 innings in Rapid City. Pinnacle Bank Papillion leading 5-3 over the Pueblo Azteca. Pueblo has out-hit Papillion 6-5, but they trail by a pair of runs as we go into inning number 6.
All right, building up the standings here. There's only one team that is 2-0 at the moment in the pool play here, the DC Electric Thunderbirds. The Post-22 Hard Hats going to play an 0-1 Premier West team tonight, and so a decent likelihood that they will come out of the day 2-0 as well. But we will see how it goes. Currently, the winner of this game will be tied for first, along with the Bellevue West team, DC Electric, who both these teams play later, I believe.
Thank you for that standings update. Calderon will lead things off for Pueblo Azteca. Colton sees his first pitch sail past him for strike 1. Tanner Apgar now the pitcher of record on the winning side of the ledger. If the Pinnacle Bank team can record 6 more outs and hold their 5-3 advantage. Pinnacle Bank Papillion trying to stay even, as Oliver mentioned, with Bellevue West from DC Electric. The DC Electric team, also a Sarpy County ball club. Count is 1-2 now to Colton Calderon. Colton waits for the 1-2 offering from Apgar, and that ball goes back to the screen. Count is 2-2. So happy to have you with us. Happy birthday, America. God bless the USA. 2-2 count now to Colton Calderon. Pitcher gets his sign, fires home, and Calderon keeps himself eligible for more pitches as he stays alive there with that cut, protecting the zone just barely in what appeared to have been strike 3 if he didn't make contact. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Colton Calderon. That ball hit high and deep. It's carrying, and it will hit the Vidco sign in left center field for a stand-up double. Colton Calderon gets the Pueblo Azteca fans, who brought some of their noisemakers with them, into a state of excitement and delirium. And now Gabe Wren will come to the plate. How big is a leadoff double, especially in sending a response to Pinnacle Bank Papillion for putting up 3 runs in the half inning that just concluded? Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Glad you're able to join us. The hot dog contest was won by somebody that my son Oliver, who was along for this broadcast, did not initially recognize.
No, it was like Patrick Borghetti or something.
Way to go, Patrick. Way to eat those 59 hot dogs.
58.
58 hot dogs. Have to work on eating more, I guess. There's a throw to first, and that's in time. That strands Calderon at second. Holds Calderon at second, I should say. And good play there by infielder Alex Imig to record the out at first and keep Colton Calderon at second. Calderon does not appear to have blazing speed from what I have assessed so far in this ballgame. Here comes Frank Flores. He's 1 for 2. He singled and scored back in the third, and trying to come through with a big hit here, and at the very least wants to advance the runner, and Colton Calderon at second. Here comes the pitch from Tanner Apgar, who has struck out 6 Pueblo Azteca hitters today. There's a pop-up, playable, and caught by the first baseman. And give Tanner Apgar a ton of credit. He gave up a long leadoff double off the wall, and just like that has retired the 6 and 7 hitters in the Pueblo Azteca lineup, as Flores flies out to first baseman Evan Eddy for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Now here comes Zachary Sanders. Big spot here for Zachary. Yet to reach base. Trying to at least make it a 1-run game here in the top of the 6th inning, with Papillion leading 5-3. There's a pitch over for strike 1. Tanner Apgar, I believe, has improved his control as the game has gone along. Initially, he was just absolutely blazing heat anywhere and everywhere. He seems to have really found his groove as the second pitch is over for a strike. Let's see what happens next. The count is no balls and 2 strikes. Apgar 1 strike away from stranding a runner at second. Here comes a pitch. That ball right at the shortstop. Handled cleanly. Throw to first is low, but scooped up in time. And that will end the inning. And Tanner Apgar gets a nice round of applause from all of the Pinnacle Bank Papillion fans here in attendance, as the inning ends with the leadoff batter stranded at second base in the person of Colton Calderon for Pueblo Azteca. They record 3 successive infield outs, and Strand Calderon at second. There were no runs. There was 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 5.5 in Rapid City. It's the Pueblo Azteca 3 and the Papillion-La Vista Pinnacle Bank Ball Club 5, with Papillion coming up, sending the top of the order to the plate in the 6th inning, with Schneider, Imig, and Apgar due up for the red and white of Pinnacle Bank Papillion, trying to get to 2-0 in the Firecracker Classic this afternoon. It is 4:06 Mountain Time, local time. Pueblo time, it is 5:06 in the Omaha metro area. For all of you Pinnacle Bank Papillion fans, good viewership right now, and we're happy to have all of you watching this afternoon. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Game 4 of day 2 of our 29-game showcase here, bringing you every game from morning to darkness here on Hard Hats TV. Easton Schneider watches the first pitch come off his bat for strike 1. Here comes J.J. Barger out for his 2nd inning of work, firing just off the plate for ball 1. Barger limited the damage, but that insurance run that came in off of the ball that just went off his glove, that was not an error, seemingly very frustrating for Pinnacle Bank, or rather for Pueblo Azteca. It could easily be 4-3 right now. Instead, it's a 5-3 game as we play the bottom of the 6th inning. Sometimes insurance runs just feel different. That one feels so big right now. Here comes the 2-2 count to Easton Schneider, and that's just off the plate inside. Barger and Pueblo Azteca's fans really wanted that to be strike 3. Count is now full to the leadoff hitter, Easton Schneider. Here comes the pitch from Barger. That's high, ball 4. And Schneider, the leadoff man, is aboard for the red and white, the Husker scarlet and cream of Pinnacle Bank Papillion.
I like the idea of cream, but I think they're just white.
Okay, well, I'm
It'd be
thinking,
cool if it was cream.
I'm thinking Huskers. Go Big Red. Go Big Red. Go Big Red. Here comes Alex Imig. Imig waits for the pitch. That's over for a strike. I'm really dreaming of Nebraska making it to a bowl game this year, just like they did 36 times in a row when I was growing up.
And that happened.
Here comes the pitch from J.J. Barger to Alex Imig. That takes the corner, and the count goes to 0-2. Tanner Apgar is on deck. Tanner, he is the pitcher of record at the moment. Here comes a big bus into the parking lot, maybe bringing a baseball team with him. There's a ball struck well into right center field. That'll go all the way to the wall, and waving in the man is thrown to third. Is going to be in time. A man scores, and a man is out. Alex Imig is thrown out at third. He gets an RBI double to the wall. Good assist there by Braxton Vale. That's going to be an 8-5 putout against Alex Imig, who gets the RBI double. But that's another insurance run as Easton Schneider scores all the way from first base, showing some good wheels as a man who occupies the leadoff spot. And now here comes Tanner Apgar to the plate with nobody on and 1 out. But now a 6-3 lead in favor of Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Pinnacle Bank in a great position. They've been out hit 7-6. But just as we saw in their win over South Kingstown, Rhode Island yesterday, they seem to own the middle to late innings. That's when they make their move. Here comes a pitch from J.J. Barger. That's outside. Barger having his struggles in relief of Ethan Ayala, who pitched a very fine 4 1/3 innings, giving up 3 earned runs. Barger charged with the next 3 runs given up by Pueblo Azteca. Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Apgar, and that's outside for ball 4. And it seems as though Barger really struggling to get that out pitch, you might say, when he pushes the opposing hitter to 2 strikes. He just seems to be unable to get that third K in the AB. Here comes Trent Levecki. Levecki is 0 for 1 with a walk and a sacrifice fly and an RBI. J.J. Barger looks back at first. Just 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Due up for Pinnacle Azteca, Pueblo Azteca in the top of the 7th will be Robles, Baca, and Vale. And if anyone gets on Higginbotham. Here comes a pitch, and that ball drilled to left field by Trent Levecki. And J.J. Barger right now is just really struggling in all facets. He's not hitting the spots he wants to hit, and he's really not getting any action, any motion at the end of his pitches. Pinnacle Bank right now just very relaxed at the plate with 2 on and just 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th, and that ball is laced into center field for a base hit, and that might score a run. Here comes a throw to the cutoff man, and that'll score a run as Parker Ingram comes through with his first RBI of the ball game, driving in Alex Imig to make it 7-3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Tanner Apgar. Actually, I'm going to correct myself here. Apgar just scored. Imig was recorded as an out a little earlier. He was thrown out from the outfield, and now we'll have a conference on the mound. J.J. Barger it has not been his day. I hope it's his holiday, but it has not been a good baseball day for J.J. He has given up several hits, and now Pinnacle Bank Papillion has out-hit Pueblo Azteca 8-7. Tanner Apgar, by the way, scored a moment ago. Trent Levicki's at second base. Parker Ingram's at first. Ryan Thompson's due up to bat now with 1 out, 2 men on, and Pinnacle Bank Papillion scoring 5 runs in innings 5 and 6. Yesterday, Pinnacle Bank Papillion scored 7 runs in the innings 5, 6, and 7. They seemingly come to life in the late innings. And that's a trademark, Oliver, of a team that can contend, a team that can really shine in those late innings.
If you don't give the other team a chance to respond, you can usually sneak out with a win you may or may not have deserved. And that's one where you find that middle ground where you make up a few games throughout the year and in tournaments like this.
Here we go. Barger fires to Thompson. Thompson hits it into right center field, and
it's knocked around.
Two outfielders struggle to come up with a baseball, and a run scores. Ryan Thompson now with 3 RBIs in the ball game. He had a 2-run double that put Pinnacle Bank on top in the last inning. This time he drives home Trent Levecki from second base, and now there are runners at second and third, and Barger may be finished for the afternoon, as after that last pep talk, here comes the manager. He'll take the baseball, and that'll be all for J.J. Barger, who just did not have his best stuff today, and he gets a nice round of applause from the Pueblo Azteca faithful as the relief pitcher will come in from the bullpen for Pueblo Azteca. Parker Ingram is at third base. Ryan Thompson's at second base, and still only one out. And just as we saw yesterday, Pinnacle Bank Papillion able to get into the opposing bullpen and really make hay when the sun is shining. And for Ayala, the starter for Pueblo Azteca, has to be really frustrating. It was a very close game in which Pueblo Azteca was leading 3-2 going to the bottom of the fifth inning. And then Pinnacle Bank put up 3 runs in the fifth. Then for an encore has already plated 3 runs in the bottom of the sixth to take a commanding 8-3 lead. And Pueblo Azteca, they're down to their final 3 outs. And Colter Calderon will be called upon to be the second pitcher.
Colton
Calderon called to be the pitcher as he moves over from third base to relieve J.J. Barger here in the bottom of the sixth inning with 2 on and 1 out and 2 men in scoring position here in Rapid City.
Calderon pitched 15 innings of, what is this? This is 15 innings of high school baseball. Went 2-0, 9 walks to 15 strikeouts, 5.48 ERA, but he did get a save for Pueblo Central.
There's a wild pitch by Calderon.
Oh, wait.
Well, wait a minute.
It hit him.
It's a hit by pitch. It's wild, but wild in terms of hitting someone, not missing everyone. And now the bases are loaded. Calderon instantly on one pitch makes things eminently more challenging. Bases are loaded. No bases open now. It could or force. As Blake Nissen now will come to bat with the bases filled with Pinnacle Bank Papillion base runners. Here comes the pitch from Calderon to Nissen, and that is able to connect for strike 1. Pueblo Azteca will bring the top of the order to the plate in the 7th inning. They're down to their final 3 outs, but down by 5 runs in a game in which they led 3-1 in the middle of the 5th. Here comes the pitch from Colton Calderon, and
Bases clearing double walks this off as well.
Ooh, that's a good point. It's a 5-run game in the 6th, and as you mentioned, Oliver, if Pinnacle Bank, who only has 1 out against them here in the 6th, can score 3 more runs, this game would be a walk-off 8-run mercy rule decision. There's a throw down to second in time, but a run scores. Blake Nissen able to drive in his second man of the ball game with a fielder's choice ground out. Evan Eddy is retired 3-6 if you're scoring along with us. And scoring on the play was Parker Ingram, who gets his second run of the game. And the first 5 men to come to the plate, check that, 4 of the first 5 men to come to the plate have scored here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 9-3 ball game with a 6-run lead. possessed by the team from the Omaha, Nebraska metro area. Here comes the pitch now from Colton Calderon to Dylan Wernley, who is 1 for 3 today with a single. Calderon gets his sign, fires home, and there's a swing and a miss
He got a
off the
piece of it.
chest protector of the catcher. Count now goes to 0-2.
He got a piece of it, so that
So
guy has to come back.
Coulter Calderon, dealing with runners at the corners in a 9-3 ball game, is 1 strike away from sending this game to the 7th inning right here, right now. Here comes the pitch. Runner is going, heading to second, and that's a stolen base for Blake Nissen. And now, with that stolen base by Blake, a base hit could end the game here with a 6-run lead and the potential 7 and 8 run leads to the margin out there. There's a grounder, handled by the shortstop. Throw to first is in time to retire the side, and that will send us to the 7th inning. Colton Calderon does a great job in relief of J.J. Barger and keeps this game going. This will not be a walk-off mercy rule decision today. To round out that 6th inning for Pinnacle Bank, Papillion-La Vista, it was a great 6th inning as Pinnacle Bank scores 4 runs, all earned on a total of 4 hits. There were no errors, and there were 2 men left in scoring position. And our score, after 6 innings, it's Papillion-La Vista, Pinnacle Bank 9, and Pueblo Azteca 3. We head to the 7th inning. You're watching Hard Hats TV.
As it currently stands, I still have to look at what the run differential would be for this Papillion team if they were to hold. It wouldn't be all that kind, though, because that would mean they have 8 runs allowed so far, and they were this would be a 2 14-inning contest. That would be, or 2 7-inning contests for 14 total innings. That would be a higher number than the .58. So the best they could do right now is put themselves in second. But we're not even halfway through pool play for them. They have a doubleheader day tomorrow.
Great point. Update from Seattle. The Mariners and Orioles tied at 2 with the bases loaded and 2 outs for the Mariners in the bottom of the 7th inning. Those 2 teams currently in playoff position in the American League. Beto Robles to lead things off in the visiting half of the 7th inning. Pueblo Azteca must score at least 6 runs against starter Tanner Apgar here in the 7th to keep this game going. It's 9-3, Pinnacle Bank Papillion on top by half a dozen as we go to the 7th. Apgar quickly fires a pair of balls to Beto Robles. Robles has had an outstanding day. He's 2 for 2 with 2 doubles and 2 runs scored and an RBI for Pueblo Azteca, batting in the number 9 spot in the order. There's a strike from Apgar. Count is 2-1. Apgar has just become more efficient and better as the game has gone along. Apgar struggled initially with his command. That's no longer any kind of an issue. The count is now 3-1. Pinnacle Bank Papillion seeing some activity in their bullpen. You sense there's not a long leash here with Apgar, who's thrown a lot of pitches, and there's ball 4. And the leadoff man is aboard in the person of Beto Robles. Apgar a little frustrated. It's a 6-run game, so it appears that Pinnacle Bank's manager will manage to allow Apgar to stay out there. And here comes Javier Baca. We've talked about the Baca name in southern Colorado a couple times already in this broadcast. It's a big name in southern Colorado history, and I'm sure right now in southern Colorado too. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Javier Baca. That's off the plate for a ball. Baca County, Colorado, in the southeast corner of great state of Colorado, known for having some big thunderstorms. They seemingly get that southwest Kansas style weather on days and nights like tonight.
Well, he's looking to bring the thunder here.
Yes, he is. Here comes a pitch to Baca. That's high, and count goes to 2-1. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Happy birthday, America. We're so blessed to live in the land of opportunity, home of the free and the brave. There is a pop-up. It's called for and caught by the first baseman for the first out of this 7th inning. And Tanner Apgar and Pinnacle Bank Papillion just 2 outs away from the victory, and we may have a pitching change due to the pitch count, I would think. And listen to the crowd here. Wait, listen for this ovation for Tanner Apgar, who goes 6 1/3 innings and is on his way to getting a W today for the young men from Sarpy County, Nebraska. What a performance by Tanner Apgar. 6 1/3. The runner at first does belong to Tanner. It sure looks as though Apgar got it done today. And there were times in this game where Tanner was trailing or was tied, but he kept his composure, kept on dealing, and not only that, but Tanner Apgar on the afternoon able to strike out 6 opposing hitters. And again, as I mentioned, perhaps most impressively is that after striking out 6 hitters through 4 innings, he didn't strike out anybody in the 5th and 6th and the part of the 7th inning, but I think he did his best work in those innings, Oliver.
I agree, definitely. I don't know, eventually I feel like there are guys, the great pitchers are able to know when their juice is there and when it isn't, and adjust correspondingly. I'm sure you look at like like a great guy like Justin Verlander or something, you're going to notice that drop in Ks because he loses the energy throughout the start. But he's good enough to recognize that and adjust it in order to switch himself into more of a ground baller.
All right, we have a new pitcher on the mound for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Let's see if we can identify Aiden Vodka, who was a pinch runner in yesterday's courtesy runner in yesterday's victory for Pinnacle Bank Papillion over South Kingstown, Rhode Island. Now the relief pitcher. And Braxton Vale, who has been impressive so far today. 1 for 2 with a base hit and an RBI. An impressive sacrifice fly, which was apparently in retrospect, perhaps the high point of the afternoon for Pueblo Azteca. As he drove in the go-ahead run. Braxton Vale gets a hold of that pitch from Vodka, but that ball sails foul, but goes a long ways from home plate.
That might be in the river.
It might have found the wet stuff, as they say in golf. Here comes the pitch from Vodka to Vale. That's low at the knees.
A better name for that.
For the count 1-1.
Do they not know the word for water?
Well,
the wet stuff.
I'm just telling you that's
Golfers
a golfing
need to
term.
Get a new word.
You say that, but boy, when you fiddle with a ball retriever, you could call it any number of other things when you golf. Here comes a pitch. That's high and above the
He's frozen.
letters for a 2-1 count.
He just sort of
Braxton
stands
Vale,
there.
very impressive ball player. He puts that barrel way behind his head, but he sure brings the ball around with a good amount of force through the strike zone.
He just slings it.
He does. Remember that name, Braxton Vale. Big time player here for Pueblo Azteca. Here comes a 3-1 pitch from Aiden Vodka for Pinnacle Bank Papillion, and Braxton Vale frustrated. He got the pitch he wanted and fouls the ball high and outside the pavilion. It may have even left the ballpark. Wouldn't be surprised. The count 3-2 now to Braxton Vale with 1 out and 1 on in a 9-3 ball game. Pinnacle Bank just needs 2 more outs, and they get strike 3 as Vale, after putting up a pair of long-distance foul balls and getting frustrated, strikes out and will head back to the dugout for out number 2 in the inning. So Aiden Vodka strikes out Braxton Vale, and now with a 9-3 lead here in the top of the 7th inning, after scoring seven runs for the second game in a row after inning number 4. Trying to nail down this win right here, right now against Roy Higginbotham. Roy 1 for 3 with a double in this ball game. Here comes the pitch for Pinnacle Bank Papillion. Runner takes off. There's a swing and a miss by Higginbotham to move the count to 0-2, and reaching on defensive indifference is Beto Robles, who goes from first to second. That will not be a stolen base. Vodka throws home. 0-2 pitch. Did he catch the corner? No, he did not. And the game continues on. Aiden Vodka trying to nail down a 9-3 win, which would be a victory for Tanner Apgar, the starter. Here's a chopper to the shortstop. Throw to first is in time, and Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista wins 9-3. They rally from a 3-2 deficit in the 5th inning and roll to a 9-3 6-run win. And they are 2-0 along with DC Electric Bellevue West here in pool play of the 49th annual Firecracker Classic, and the Pinnacle Bank team now 23-12 on the season, and for Pueblo Azteca they drop to 18-7 on the year and fall to 500 in pool play.
Yeah, big win for them, especially since they were able to hold Pueblo to just 1 run in the final 4 innings. That's a real big help. They're chasing West and probably the Hard Hats. The Papillion team does not play today again, but they have a doubleheader day tomorrow. Let me get a real quick look at what the schedule is for both teams tomorrow. Pueblo and Papillion both going to have their moment. Pueblo gets their second game of the day in just a minute here against the Rhode Island squad from South Kingstown, Post 39. They get against them in just a minute, and then the Papillion team going to have a doubleheader tomorrow, 2 o'clock approximately, Mountain Time, versus Premier West Baseball Club, who is currently 0-1. And then they play the Post 22 junior squad, the Expos, at 5 o'clock at a game that's going to be very anticipated. Papillion versus the Expos. Make sure that you stand by. So doubleheader tomorrow starting at about 2 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time.
Thank you, Oliver. Let's go ahead and recap this game. I'll let you look at the good news for the Seattle Mariners there. The Pinnacle Bank Papillion team wins 9-3. They out-hit Pueblo Azteca 9-7. Most of those runs and hits were recorded in the 5th and 6th innings. The bottom of the 7th, of course, unnecessary, as the home team, the Pinnacle Bank Papillion-La Vista team from the southern part of the Omaha area wins over Pueblo Azteca 9-3. Great start for the Sarpy County teams here at Fitzgerald Stadium here on 4th of July and yesterday. Bellevue West, the Thunderbirds, they're 2-0, and Pinnacle Bank Papillion, some would call them the Monarchs, they are 2-0 to get things started here on the 4th of July at our 5-day Firecracker tournament in Rapid City. For my analyst, my son Oliver Fell, the voice of Hard Hats TV, who will have the play-by-play of the next two games for you. This is Mike Fell, aka the Dad. Happy to be with you for Game 4 of our second day of coverage for the Firecracker Classic. Our final score here in Rapid City on a beautiful day for baseball. It's Papillion 9, Pueblo 3. And good evening and happy 4th of July from Rapid City, South Dakota.
All right. There was a lot of viewers there.
Yeah, got a lot of you.